they were saying how like everybody felt like they were winning the last 2 years. Yeah. And everybody got kicked in the face. Fuck this, bro. I'm out.
Yeah, dude,
so I was just like,
lame.
dude, it was a fucking opportunity. You don't need to get butthurt. What's up, guys? Luis here, and welcome back to Winners Only, where we talk to winners at anything regarding life, business, relationships, whatever the case may be. Today we have on Javier Chavez. How long have we known each other?
Maybe like 3 years now.
Yeah,
Time
so
flies.
Met him in the Pineda world. So yeah, brought him on today. You have anything to say about yourself?
Yeah, man. So been in some sort of entrepreneurship or real estate sales space for the last 10 years or so.
Okay.
So that's kind of my background, my niche. Started off, all the way from selling cars, selling software, did an MLM for a while, failed at that. And then eventually worked my way into kind of the Pineda universe, and now I'm the COO over at our parent company and just make sure everything runs properly.
Nice,
yeah.
Nice. You mentioned a few things that I did, which I didn't know you were doing MLMs and car sales, and so I sold BMWs, and then I did Wake Up Now. You ever heard of that MLM?
Was that like the stock trading one?
No, it was like Vima.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like kind of like Vima.
So I did Vima.
Oh. yeah. I feel like a lot of the guys that end up in business, like a lot of them were in one of those things.
Totally.
But it's just funny.
And yeah, so like I got into that, so I can kind of like tell my story.
Yeah.
So like I was 17, about to join the military. I was going to join the Navy, so I met with a recruiter, did the whole thing, and then that was like the summer of my junior year. And then my mom's like, "No, wait, dude, like just finish your year, and then you can make a decision." I'm like, "All right, mom, whatever you say." And then I see a guy drive up in my parking lot with it was like a C-Class Mercedes. And I'm like, bro.
Baller.
that guy's sick.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is he doing? And so, yeah, he was like a year out in college and just get started with like Vima and all that stuff. And I was like, okay, like I can do that. And I do credit it. Like that's how I read Think and Grow Rich. That's how I read, I got into Grant Cardone because of it. I think I made like $1,000 and probably spent like 5,000. So but overall it was a win. Got me into speaking to people, sales, and kind of completely changed my whole life too, because otherwise I would have ended up in the military, and nothing wrong with that. But for me, I kind of got the sales bug, and then that's how I got into car sales and everything else.
That's so funny. I did not know you had that. And we've known each other for a while now. I didn't know that, but same thing. Wake Up Now, and then I got me into talking to people, sales, and all that stuff. But
because Wake Up Now is also another young person one.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Well, they recruited us at the dorms in college.
Yeah.
And they were just like, "You guys want to make money or whatever?" Yeah, it was funny.
Yeah, because that's what happened with all the Vima kids. So I was 2 years younger, but everybody that was in that circle was all in college. They all got recruited. They all did that stuff, and it's funny now because a lot of the big guys, I think some of them went to Wake Up Now because I think Vima got some lawsuits because they were recruiting kids, and
they all did.
Yeah, and kids were making these dumb financial claims, and you obviously can't do that. So so did that. Then right afterwards, I moved to San Diego for I thought I was going to go to college, but I ended up dropping out. Did car sales, so sold Toyotas for a year, and that was the first time where I was like, okay, sales is legit. I remember I walked on the lot, I saw I didn't have any appointments for the day. And somebody came on, bought a Tacoma, and I made $800 in a day. And I'm like, bro, this is sick. $800 in one day. And as an 18, 19-year-old, I was like, wow, that's it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And so did that for a while. And then I kind of got into tech sales, started working for startups, started making real money, 6 figures and stuff. And then got into real estate. So I was doing flipping and wholesaling part-time from 2020 up until last year, 2022. I still had my tech job, and then ended up getting recruited and working over there. Yeah,
and that's how you met Ryan, right? You were in his mastermind, and then you did the golf with Ryan thing. I think
so he came to me. Okay. So back when I joined the mastermind, there was only 20 people in it. So I had Ryan's number. Obviously, you don't get all that stuff now.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he was coming to San Diego for a speaking engagement, and he's like, "Who do I know in San Diego that I don't hate?" And so, so he's like, "Who can I tolerate for 4 hours?" And then so he hit me up. I got him on one of the Torrey Pines for people in San Diego. That's one of the PGA courses, but they open it up to locals. So anyway, I got him on the course, and my whole thing was all right, I'm moving up in the startup world. So I was running a sales team over there, and I was also flipping and wholesaling, mostly wholesaling. And then I was like, Ryan, like, I'm kind of at a crossroads here, dude. Like, what do I do? I could either probably stay in tech and in 3 to 5 years go be like a VP of sales or something in that world, or I don't love real estate, but like it's making money.
Yeah.
Like I was at the point where I was making just under what I was making at my tech job in real estate.
As like a side thing.
As a side thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? And so I was like, dude, I'm doing both at like a B plus, but I want to focus on one thing. And at the time, he was building out our parent company, which is Pineda Company. So he's like, I need a sales manager to run all the sales teams for the businesses. And then that was Friday. He made me like an offer on the golf course. No. We talked Friday. He texted me Sunday, made an offer. Monday, quit my job, and Wednesday I'm working for him. So
I think I remember that because you were. I remember when you were moving to Vegas, you were trying to move before like the 6 months mark, so you can get the. I remember all that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was February. I worked remote for him for 4 or 5 months, and then he convinced me to move out here. And then, that's kind of when we linked up again.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it was a good time.
Dope. I mean, that was like a good little overview. And I don't know if you're going to have like where you didn't win. It sounds like you've only been doing well.
I mean, well, so I failed in MLM.
Yeah.
I got fired from a tech job once. And we can talk about that in a second.
Okay.
And did okay in real estate, but definitely it took me a while. Like I got like 1 or 2 deals very, very quickly. And then like I kind of fell off, and then like I was kind of like figuring back out, and so like did okay at that. But yeah, we can talk. So I like the only time I ever got fired for performance. I actually haven't told this story. I was actually right when I started flipping and wholesaling. So like I was making money, and I was like, bro, like I don't care. And COVID had just happened, so this is like summer 2020. So I'm at home, like not really doing a whole lot, and I was working from home. And my performance just completely tanked because I was only focused on real estate.
Yeah.
And like I remember they called me in and they're like, yeah, this is your last day. It was a Zoom call, and then literally like within like 30 minutes, no, not even 30 minutes, like 15 minutes after the Zoom call, all my access to all the softwares was just completely like shut off. I couldn't access my laptop.
Cold turkey.
I couldn't access my laptop because it was a company laptop. And I was like, all right, well, this is that. And then it gave me a chance to focus on real estate for a little bit.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. So, I mean, from that though, like, did you take that as a lesson, or did you just continue the real estate thing, or you went back to tech?
Yeah, I went back into tech, and it actually ended up at a better company. Like they were one of the fastest growing companies to go from 0 to $100 million. It was called Hopin, and they did virtual event software. So basically, like all these big tech, like Google, Facebook, Amazon, they would use them as a client to run all their events because everything at the time, because COVID was virtual. So it's actually good timing. But from like, I mean, it was a lesson in like I can't focus on too many things at once, but the one thing that I do focus on, like I know will do well, and I think like that's a good lesson for a lot of entrepreneurs, where like, dude, a lot of them try to do drop shipping, they try to go do Turo, they try to go do wholesaling, they try to go do like stock trading, like they try to do like all these things at once, or they try to bounce around instead of figuring out like 1 or 2 skills, business skills that they can now go apply to the next thing. So that's like a huge, like that's what I learned at least. It's like, dude, like I got to focus on 1, 2 things, and then I can go focus on the next one after I learn all the skills.
Yeah, I learned that lesson the hard way. I think because I didn't really, I always forget how new to the business world I am, because I really only been doing this 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
Because like I mean, this is about you, but long story was I just got in the military 2-3 years ago, and I only started business while I was in the military.
Yeah.
And it was drop shipping, and when I moved to Vegas, I got the real estate bug, so I tried to do both, and then they both failed.
Yeah.
So then I was like, okay, fuck real estate, let me go back into the e-com stuff, and that's what I've been doing the last year. And it's going well, but at the same time, it's like, okay, like I get these little urges that we all need to control, But yeah, I mean, as far as that though, now that you're at this, how would you compare your position with tech to what you're doing now? Because it seems like it's a completely different world. Like, how do you take the skills from running a sales team to now you were running the sales team at Pineda, but now you're doing more than that now. You're doing operations, a lot of more stuff, right?
Yeah, a ton. So, I mean, we have, I think, 7 different businesses. We actually just acquired a tech company. We got a minority stake, and, I mean, I can't talk about it yet, but, like, we literally 2-3 days ago just acquired that. So a lot of the skills that like I learned, like the good news is because I was working for a lot of these big organizations, I was able to see what running one of those looks like. Even though like I wasn't the person running it, I could see like, okay, what softwares are they using? What like meeting schedules, all that type of stuff. And then also, like, me, a lot of us are like, we invest in coaching. And we get around people who are experts in that field. And so this is no different. So like I joined a COO coaching program. I like got around other people who like had the systems and the processes. And then all I did is just copy it. And that's like a lot of people want to be innovative. A lot of people want to like think about like they think they need to be super, super smart. But in reality, it's like, dude, just copy the smart people and you'll do just fine. So that's what I credit like a lot of my success to, even in sales, in real estate, and now running these businesses. It's just getting around smart people and then using what they are already doing and copying it.
Yeah.
It's easy.
Again, I think I got a lot of lessons to learn, so I like hearing him because we're like the same age. And I think you ever have that, what do they say? Comparison is a thief of joy or whatever. Yeah. But, and it's like everybody's in their own lane, but it's like seeing these other,
Yeah, but I mean, dude, you have Airbnbs.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I don't have any rentals.
Yeah.
So, like, you can't, like, it's two totally different paths. So, like, you can't, like, compare what I'm doing versus what you're doing because, like, it's totally different. And, I mean, you're running your own thing. Like,
trying to.
Yeah. I mean, we're all trying to,
we're
bro.
all trying
like,
to make it. Yeah.
Like, I make so many difficult decisions, like, a lot of the time. And, like, but at the end of the day, that kind of falls on you as the entrepreneur, right? We have 70-ish employees now, like across all the different companies. And so like making sure that, and you got to deal with other people's emotions and all that stuff. Like you just got your boy back here and that's who else is like an employee besides like virtual people? Or
I got just 2 physical employees right now. One's like an on-call person, and then my sister works for me full-time.
Nice.
And then I got 4 VAs.
Yeah.
So, but I'm so used to running virtual employees because like when we were doing the automation space, we had 200 plus virtual employees, and I was like, living the laptop lifestyle. So like, it's so hard to kind of like, for me, being like a leader in person is way different than doing it via Zoom call. Yeah. Because I don't know what it is, but it's like, I don't know if it's my personality, but I'm just, I don't know. It's like a weird thing that I'm still navigating.
Oh, for sure. That. And for me too, because like I became like a sales manager and like a leader in a virtual space.
Yeah.
So like I would just have to turn it on for a Zoom call for like an hour. And then like I would be a leader for that hour, like come across a certain type of way. But now it's 24/7, like, or I guess 9 to 5. Whenever I'm in the office, like everybody, I have to carry myself a different way. I have to like act like a leader essentially, as opposed to like where I could just, show up only for an hour or two. So I get that for sure. And yeah, like the hard part is your employees, and like if you have like a leader, a manager, like Ryan analyzes me every single day, whether he knows it or not, right? And the same thing with your employees, like they look at you and like they're just kind of watching, and they are just like, okay, like, well, what's he doing? Like, what's okay? What's appropriate? What's not appropriate? And yeah, so that was a big change for me because I came in to like only managing virtually to now managing everybody in person, and then I like moved into a leadership role around people who were in leadership roles before me, and now like the dynamic had to shift too. So that was a hard part too.
Yeah.
So that was interesting.
So you're like, even though you're working within the same company, you're like, the way you were had to change just because of your position was changing?
Exactly, yeah. So like, and hopefully if any of the employees like watch it, like hopefully they would say the same, where it's like I'd become slightly more professional. Yeah. And like, I try to like treat everybody like with respect, and like also make sure that but to answer your question, yeah, like the way I carried myself, I used to be a lot more chill, a lot more goofy, because I only managed a sales team, and then everybody else was just kind of like a friend or whatever. And then all of a sudden now I'm in charge of everybody. And I'm like, oh, I gotta tighten up a little bit. Sit a little bit straighter. I can't make the same jokes. I like the first events that we would do, like for like real estate stuff. Like, I was drinking. I was having a good time.
I remember.
Yeah,
barely.
Yeah,
but
barely. Yeah. But then now, like, I'll have like one cocktail.
Yeah.
Right, because like, and I got to make sure that everybody's like good, and like I can't act a fool.
Yeah.
Yeah. We went to Cabo for like our company retreat, and I got a little loose there, but only around certain people. I can't like.
Was it all the employees that went?
Yeah. So basically, we covered everybo's hotel. They just had to pay the flights.
That's
to
dope.
Get there.
That's cool.
It was a great time. Yeah. So we were in Cabo for like 3 days. Did the Hard Rock. That was and then we're doing a winter retreat too. So we got to figure like we just booked that. So Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, fun stuff, man. But like, what are your next goals?
I mean, right now, to be honest, I'm at a point where I'm deciding if I need to pivot or not.
Yeah.
As far as like what I'm doing in the business world. I just had a kid, so I'm focused on that too.
Oh, yeah, dude. How's
yeah,
that?
it's good. You know, I got 2 little boys now, Ryder and Roman.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so a little distracted, but at the same time, it's like I've always wanted to have kids young. So although the business is taking a little bit of a beating now, I think in the future it'll be worth it just because I get to get the kids out of the way sooner.
For sure.
But personally, like the business world, I'm just deciding right now if I want to pivot or not. Because what I'm doing is working, but it's not at the scale of what I. It's like going from I mean, when we were in the automation space, we were doing anywhere between 3 and 5 million a year.
Mm-hmm.
Going from that to like barely hitting multiple 6 figures, like it's tough. And
Yeah.
I'm talking gross.
Yeah,
so
that's what I'm saying. Because your margins aren't that large. Yeah.
With automation, the margins were like 80+%. Right now, it's like 10, 15. So it's like I stayed within the e-com space, but it was a different part of the e-com space. It's kind of like going from flipping to wholesaling. Same thing, same game, different way to play it.
Yeah.
But right now I'm actually deciding if I want to pivot or not. I think I've learned a lot this year, but really I'm just trying to navigate the space and, meeting new people in Vegas and kind of go from there. This was an accident, this podcast.
Yeah.
It was just one of those, impulse decisions. Yeah.
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
Like the space rent. I know you're renting it out, right?
Yeah, renting it out by
so
the Podspot LV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Found him on Instagram.
Yeah.
But yeah, because number one, you're going to get people who have something to talk about. So you're going to get a great network that you can either connect with or whatever. And then also it's just sick. Like, and attention is like the new currency. So like you get to put yourself out there too. So yeah, man, I think it's a winning move. And running a real estate business and running like a real business are so different too. Like,
that's one of the reasons I decided to do it was, in my head, it was a one-time investment.
Mm-hmm.
It was whatever I spent to get this thing built. And now it's like, if it makes money, cool. If it doesn't, I don't really care.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's just going to be here. And if it makes money, cool. But while I am figuring out if I want to pivot, it's like, I like the internet money.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to do flipping. I don't want to do all that stuff.
Dude,
it's just a lot of effort. So I'm like, okay, like if I go, one of my buddies runs a social media agency out of Sacramento.
Yeah.
So he's like, dude, you have the studio. Like,
that's what I was about to say.
Go that route. You already have the people. You have a lot of entrepreneurs in your network that need the help.
Yeah.
Go that route. And I'm still figuring out if I want to pivot or not.
You should.
Yeah.
Like, well, I'm not saying you need to stop doing the other business, but like for us, like that's what we're doing at Pineda Media, and it's doing well.
Yeah.
And like it's because again, anybody who says like, oh, they're late to the game on social is so wrong. Like they're still so new, and I forget where I saw this, but like this guy who's a big social media speaker, like he was speaking at an event. He's like, how many, like, stand up if you guys are on social media. Everybody raises their hand. Like, he stays standing if you post every single day. And like, no, everybody sat down. So like the percentage, like there's only 1 to 2% of creators who are like actually out there consistently creating content. So if you can make that easy for people, have them film a podcast, chop it up in some reels, and then put it out, like it'll do well.
Well, that's what I've noticed, because like a couple of the clients that I had on, I gave them their raw footage, and then they're like, now what?
Exactly.
And I was like, oh, like there's like the need, and then they couldn't figure out how to like do simple stuff like, move the file onto a hard drive or whatever.
Yeah. Well,
so it's just funny.
Don't want to learn either.
Yeah. So I'm just like, okay, there's definitely a need for that. So that's kind of where I'm leaning towards. But again, I don't want to say anything because I'm kind of letting it, how would I say, like, I'm just letting kind of the flow go and see what happens right now. Because luckily, the last few years that I did do well, I set myself up to buy rentals, and I'm chilling on that side, and I got the military disability. So
Thank you, Uncle Sam, baby. Let's go.
I served America. All right?
But what branch were you in?
Army.
Yeah.
And
what'd you do?
I was at satellite tech, so I worked on satellites.
Nice.
It was boring as fuck. Yeah.
Were you always like local, or did you get deployed? Or
no, I never was deployed. While I was in Augusta, Georgia, and then Texas. Nothing exciting, but
sick.
Yeah, it was not sick. But it was again one of those impulse decisions. I literally joined like on an impulse, and this was when me and Lexi were only like dating for like 8 months. So I was like, hey, I'm joining the military. You can come if you want. We got to get married. She's like, okay.
Ride or die.
Came to Vegas, got married before, whatever, and that was it.
Nice.
But, when you said, so military. And pretty much that's how I got into business, though, was while I was in the military, I realized I hated being told what to do, how to act, all that stuff. So I started Googling how to make money online.
Do you like apply a lot of the military stuff to your business or no?
I think so. I think because so I joined with my bachelor's because I did go to college.
Nice.
I learned that they put you in a leadership position right away just because you have your bachelor's and that means something.
Yeah, you're an officer. Right?
Yeah. So I got to like lead and do this stuff. I wasn't a commissioned officer. I became an NCO.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So but yeah, I mean, whatever. Hate talking about the Army.
What's your biggest takeaway that like if you have one in like Army principles to now applying it to your business?
I think the biggest thing is kind of like what you just said like 5 seconds ago is they're always watching you. Doesn't matter it doesn't matter if you're in that role right then and there. Like it might be just in the office, might be what you say, but they're always watching you, and then they're gonna get away with as much as you get away with. So I definitely learned that. But again, going from that to leading people via Zoom call, I could turn it on for an hour and then turn it off.
Yeah.
And so I'm like having to learn that. But at the same time, I'm not because I only have 2 physical employees. So it's a whole different world that I'm navigating this year. So it's like, but I feel like everybody is. I was talking to a couple of the guys in Wealthy Investor now. It's called.
Yeah. A lot of people really just stopped flipping and wholesaling completely, and because again, when you're winning, it's easy to spend that money. It's easy, and then it's easy to get deals. I think that's part of the reason why I was successful during that time is just because dude, I could have thrown like a rock and I would have found a person that was willing to sell their house.
Dude, like there was these like nightmare stories of like everything that could possibly go wrong with the flip went wrong, and you still made money.
Yeah,
it was just dumb. It was like
yeah. But like now, like we got kicked in the face too. Like and then like, but luckily again we have other businesses. We have all these other things that kind of like kept us rolling.
Yeah.
But now like we're right back to where we were like.
But you guys aren't flipping anymore, right? Just wholesaling?
We took down like a couple flips recently, like finally again. But like we'll flip, but it has to make sense.
Yeah.
At the time, we've had like 40 to 50 active flips at one given time, which is crazy. So we'll never be like that again. We'll probably stay around like 15 to 20 like active flips, and that's where like our max. We're nowhere close to that right now.
Yeah.
Most of what we're doing is just wholesaling.
Just wholesaling.
Yeah.
It's just primarily just Vegas still.
Yeah, Vegas.
Yeah.
We've talked about going to other markets probably like by the beginning of the year. We just want to see how like the rest of this year goes.
Yeah.
And just like really dial in our processes and like scale the team some more. Like get some more like really really good salespeople. So if you're looking for a job, hit me up. And then. But yeah, so that's kind of like our goal right now. It's like so we're scaling the team. Like we're bringing on like maybe like 1 or 2 more people, keep training up the people that we have, and yeah, just I mean this Q3 has been really good for us so far. Yeah, which is sweet.
Dope.
Yeah. First time in a while.
Yeah. You got anything? Like I said, we're gonna be kind of shooting from the hip. Anything you want to talk about specifically that you haven't talked about on a podcast? We can go from there.
Yeah, I mean, let's see.
Maybe something outside of business, lifestyle. I know you met a girl in Vegas.
Yep. So,
right?
Yeah, met really, really good for me personally because she's also very entrepreneurial. So she's just opening a salon, E-Tray Salon in Vegas, Summerlin.
Is she looking for hairstylist?
She is.
My sister just graduated Paul Mitchell.
There we go. We'll have to link up after the pod.
Yeah, no,
but yeah,
for sure.
So she's great. So we've been dating for 8 months now, and like one thing that like I really appreciate, like dude, I was supposed to hang out with her later and I'm still going to, but I was like, hey, like actually like I forgot I have a podcast today. And she's like, okay, it's all good because like she does her own thing, she has her own life, and like because she like is so busy throughout the day, like doesn't worry about me not texting back, supports like the entrepreneurship kind of thing too, and like without being like I don't know the right word to say, but like, I take her on fun vacations. Like I take her on stuff, and in my head, if she ever does get a little like why are you working? I'm like, do you want to go to Greece?
Yeah.
Like I'm taking you we're about to see Taylor Swift for the second time.
Yeah.
So and those tickets were expensive here. And then
you didn't hit me up. I could have given you free parking.
I know. I think I did hit you up, but I think you had already given it out or something. But
okay.
Anyway, but yeah. So like we're gonna go see Taylor Swift. We're gonna go do a bunch of other stuff, and like it's like right now in like the build, like I'm in the building phase, right? So like right now in my life, like I feel like I need to spend a lot more time on work, and I still spend a lot of time with her, and like I do a really good job of like, hey, like when I'm with you, I shut it off, like I'm not on my phone, whatever. But yeah, that's the trade-off that I feel like a lot of people, like a lot of couples think they have, is like they think they're cool until they realize it's like, oh, dude, like businesses takes a lot of time.
I think finding like I love Lexi,
Yeah.
but like when we first got it, like when we first met, we always talked about business, but like I said, I joined the military. I wanted to turn off when I got home from the military, so it was never like the let me go work dynamic. But like when we transitioned into the business world, she was very quick to like do your thing, like yo, do it. Like I remember one time specifically, my buddy, you know, Steve.
Oh yeah,
yeah, she's out of Sacramento. So Steve was having a networking event in Sacramento. And I was just like, and on a 2 or 3 hour notice, I bought a flight and I left, and I had to ask her a question. I was like, hey, I'm going. And this was while she was pregnant, had a kid, and I already had a kid.
Wow.
So like, I think she's always let me like, you know, go do your thing, go do whatever. So like, I think finding somebody like that's super important.
Yeah, and she's super entrepreneurial too.
Yeah, but that's also like a tough part because we're both kind of like ambitious. So, but I gotta be like, yo, you do the mom thing. Yeah, especially right now because while I was when I had a Ryder, I was in the Army.
Yeah.
So like I wanted to get out of work. I wanted to go spend time with the kid, and I want to spend time with my kid now. But now it's like there is no steady military paycheck. I got to go make it work.
Yeah.
So like as soon as Roman was born, I was like, bye. I gotta go. You know, like I gotta feed this thing. And she got it though. Like she was just like, no, go. Like we're good. Like I got this or whatever. So it's been dope. It's been a different experience versus Ryder and Roman. But yeah, I mean same thing though. She lets you do your thing, and I'm like,
yeah. And especially that, and it's also. It takes a unique person to be cool with like how we put ourselves like lives on social media and like starting a podcast and to not be like, ooh, that's kind of weird.
Yeah, why are you talking about us?
Or like, what are you talking about? Like, why are you talking about how much money you made? Why are you talking about like all that stuff? Because like a lot of people don't like that, right? And that's like so. Not to put like the last person I dated on blast or anything, but like I went from like having kind of be pretty normal and like reserved, and then started posting on social. And then I could tell that it wasn't like, she didn't think it was cool.
Yeah.
And I get it. Like,
it's not for everybody.
Is some of what I say maybe cringy sometimes? Whatever. But, you know, that's what I decided to do. And those people who like are haters on social don't pay my bills. But like me putting myself out online has made me way more money than, you know, there's more positives than negatives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've gotten like, you know, when somebody tries to share your story or something and they accidentally send it back to you. That's happened twice to me where they're like, this guy's, I don't remember what they said, but I remember I reposted on my story and I tagged them and they just they unfollowed me, never talked to them again. But I'm just like, yeah, like you still get guys that, you know.
Yeah.
And I think, I forgot what quote it was, but it was like, your supporters are never your friends because they're like they don't want to see you doing better than them.
Yep.
Because it's like it's true. It's like they're too scared to put themselves out there. So it's like
exactly, and it's a reflection of like the person who's watching too, right? Like but I get way more love from like either like the wealthy network or just like random people who like
strangers
I've met like maybe once or twice, and they're the ones like, dude, like loves to see you win, love to see the success, all that stuff, and then like my boys are still my boys, and like they still like support me for sure, but then it's like kind of like those like middle acquaintance people that are like just haters, bro.
Yeah,
and it is what it is.
It's like what you said. I mean, we're not like strangers, but like we could probably count on our hands the times we've hung out.
That's true.
So it's like, but I like seeing you win. I like, and I'm sure vice versa. But it's like guys that you don't necessarily like, you know, hang out with every day that are really the ones that are like, dude, fuck yeah, crush it. Yeah, but speaking about like the boys. I recently had a flip that I was doing because we're still doing like 1 or 2 flips, you know, every here and there.
Yeah.
And we needed some private money, and I sent our lending packet into my high school group chat. And I was like, hey, if anybody's interested. One guy left the group chat, and I was like, what just happened?
Yeah.
And my buddies, I reached out, and he's like, he just likes to keep business and friends separate. And I'm like, fuck this, bro. I'm out.
Yeah, dude,
so I was just like,
lame.
dude, it was a fucking opportunity. You don't need to get butthurt. But it's like the same thing. Yeah, I think it's the type of people you end up like putting yourself around. It really kind of shows you what the previous people were. So it is like leveling up.
Yeah. No, yeah. And that's, but again, like we said, it's just a reflection of them. And if you're going to make them uncomfortable for trying to send them a deal or like talk about work, then like that's their fault.
Yeah. I was like, it was I think it was more eye-opening than anything. I think it like showed me, okay, who I need to spend time around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But my friends for sure make fun of me. Like, and it's okay though, because like those are my boys.
Yeah.
Like, because I don't know if you follow. There's like some satire like business accounts or whatever.
Yeah.
And it was like cold calling tips for dummies, and then it was like, and then he does the cold calling. He's like, "Yo, Jim, like, I have your daughter right now. Like, you better buy." Basically, like, if you ever want to see her again, right? Yeah. And then so they sent it to me. He's like, Javi, any tips here? And I was like, damn, bro. Like, but it's good. Like, I think at a minimum, like, they support it. And like, if you can't laugh with your boys about like what we do, then it is what it is.
Yeah. I mean, I wish I had that, but the guys that I had, they just pretty much like, nah, don't talk business. And I'm like, all right, you're good.
Yeah. So what's the biggest L you ever taken?
Business-wise?
Yeah, we can say business-wise.
Okay. I mean, I lost like 40K on the flip.
Dang.
Yeah.
That's tough.
But we bought it like peak of market last year.
Mm-hmm.
And I've already said his name. I'm not going to say his name, but it was a partner and went south and we argued or whatever. But yeah, lost like 30, 40K. But as far as like, I think one of the biggest L's is one of the ones I'm taking right now, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, I think I've been really pushing hard at, I think business was treated me well the last years, but this year's been a little rough, but not anything to like kick me out of the game. I'm still playing. But it's just been like a negative cash flow, but I would say it's an L financially, but I've learned a lot.
But the whole industry's taken an L.
Yeah.
So like it's not even you, like it's really like just the market shifting. That's why I fully support you trying to go to do like another thing, because it's tough out there for the e-com guys these days.
Yeah, it's different. It's just different. It's different from what the last 2 years are. What pisses me off though is all these guys still selling FBA automation.
Yeah, I know. Like,
I would say people are gonna get mad I said that, but there's guys still selling it that they straight up know it's fucking not working anymore.
I know. Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, like let me just exit this space. And I'm just going to say it because I'm trying to exit the space in general, but some of my biggest clients right now are automation companies because I have the prep center.
Yeah.
So, like, it's cool because I benefit from it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, I see all the clients that are getting fucked.
Yeah.
Because I get inventory into my warehouse that I know doesn't sell well on Amazon. And I know because I know what the product research looks like, yet they're still buying it for their clients, and it's stupid.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know what, like, I'm out. Like, I'm taking my, the white flag,
Yeah.
But I'm surrendering, but surrendering at that game, but not at the game of business.
Well, one of the biggest business lessons that I've seen too is it's so hard to be dependent on another platform. So like when you're just dependent on Turo by itself, but you're not a car rental company. If you're dependent on Airbnb, but you're not on VRBO or like these other websites for short-term rentals. Like if you are dependent on one company like Amazon, and then they change their policies, they do anything, or like, because in Amazon's case, dude, their whole goal is just to edge all these small guys out anyway and just be the main supplier. So like it's always been on their roadmap. And then same thing, I mean, like even with like, I know Turo talked about, like, because I used to be, one of the companies I worked for was called Get Around. They were like the Lyft to the Turo, if like Uber and Lyft, Turo and Get Around. But yeah, and like, so people have, like, they were trying to buy their own fleets of cars for a while. It didn't work out, but it's like, if you are like that third party, you got to be careful because the second that something changes, your whole business goes under. It's
funny. I've seen that on like before I decided to pursue it. I remember seeing all the Instagram stories of like Cody Sanchez and I think Layla. They were all talking about 3 businesses that I wouldn't get into. FBA, and I was like, fuck. and it's true though. It's like. It was a lesson that I needed to learn, but what you said is like when you're everybody wants to say, especially in the e-com space, be your own boss. And it's like you're really not. Like Amazon has a leash on you. You're constantly worried about getting suspended. You guys went through the freaking Walmart fiasco.
Yep.
Like that was a freaking nightmare. We refunded like over $500,000, and it was like
more for us.
Yeah, and it was just a constant headache. And it's like because you're constantly relying on these third parties. So that's why I'm looking at the studio. I'm looking at the real estate space again, and I'm like, let me figure out what I want to do. And I'm like, I think I've learned a lot to like take the skills that I have to do something else. I'm just right now trying to figure out what that next thing is.
Well, the good news is real estate's always there. Like you can, and that's the thing I think about too. Like I could always fall back on, if I needed to, I could go wholesale some houses. Yeah. Or like I could go get another tech job somewhere and do whatever. But
your resume's stacked now.
Yeah. Like we're in good shape. But yeah, I mean that's like our vision. Our vision right now is like we're going all in on media. So, without talking too much about like strategy and stuff, like we're also gonna start doing like production. So we're gonna start producing some like internal stuff, and then also try to get like Ryan just filmed with like Cardone, and like because they're all in on TV too. They have like a bunch of TV shows that
Oh,
they're.
TV shows. I was like commercials or
No,
what?
no, no.
Yeah.
Like they filmed like 10 different TV shows with it's like 10x studios.
Yeah.
And so like that's sick too because they're gonna they're trying to sell to like Amazon, Netflix,
Yeah.
Hulu, and get picked up. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. My buddy, speaking of TV, is like he wants to start a sports podcast here because they just did like a pilot for like a sports betting show. But it's
That's
like
cool.
TV's becoming like a weird yeah.
Yeah, well, dude, because
Yeah.
like they need so much content because like everybody's fighting for your attention right now, and like that's like I heard this somewhere like your attention is the only finite resource. You only have, you know, you can make more money, you can do all these other things, but you only have like maybe 3 to 5 free hours a day, depending on what, the kind of person that you are. So how are you going to spend those 3 to 5 hours? Are you spend it on TikTok? Are you going to spend it on Netflix, Hulu, Amazon? But that's like the only time that you have, and so they're trying to create as much content as possible to like feed and get that attention.
Well, with you, I've seen you like pushing out more content. Like for you, since you're working for like Pineda, like do you have your own like affiliate link? Do you get specific sales, or that you're just trying to grow the business in general?
My goal is just to promote the Pineda businesses and then also build my own personal brand.
Yeah.
So that way, like I can like if we think about it like Disney, like if we have Mickey, Goofy, Donald, all these characters, like that's how the Pineda universe grows. And so like I'll call Brian Goofy, and then I can be Donald or somebody else. But basically the point is that we're just trying to build up as many faces as possible to grow the overall brand. Cardone has Cardone, Jared, these other guys, Layla and Alex, like everybody's kind of trying to do a somewhat similar thing.
Yeah.
So that's like our strategy.
So then, like future wise, I'm assuming you're planning on staying there for a while. Like what?
I mean, I want to ride that thing.
What position is above you right now?
I want to ride it till the wheels fall off.
Yeah.
Like I want to continue to grow. I think there's so much growth that like there's potential for in terms of new businesses, partnerships, all this other stuff that we have in the works. So, I mean, will there? And I've talked to Ryan about this too. Like, there may be a time at some point where like the need of the COO is going to be like greater than like what I can provide. So my goal right now is just to keep leveling up, keep providing values, and like go as high as I can. And then like if I ever need to, like I can possibly move into like another role or do something else. Like if we get to like this, like 8. Well, already at 8, but like maybe like 9-figure type business.
Yeah.
Like it's gonna require a different skill set. So basically, to answer your question, my goals are right now just keep acquiring more skills, learn as much as I can, and then, God forbid, 10 years down the road or anytime, I have all these skills that I can go do my own thing with now.
Yeah.
And like I've been in a bunch of different industries. We're in the education space, the real estate space, the social media space. Now we're in the tech space again. So like I can apply these skills, and then my resume's stacked, and I'm learning all this in like this short period of time.
We can clip this out if you don't want to talk about it. But when you first moved to Vegas, I remember you saying you wanted to stack some cash and go back to San Diego.
That's still the plan. But in a like, I want to buy a place there. So like, I'll split time between the two.
Okay.
Because like right now when it's hot as fuck, like,
yeah,
you can bleep that out.
No, yeah.
Yeah, but it's just so hot that I'm like, bro, I can't do anything. And like, so my girl golfs too. And so like we would like after work lately, like before it got really hot, like in June and even like in April, like we would go out and we would like play after work. I can't do that now. I'm just literally like if I'm not, I go golf at like 7 a.m. and then like after the rest of the day, it's just nothing. And even at 7 a.m., it's like 110 degrees by 9. So like, it sucks, dude.
Yeah, no, I thought there was an issue with our AC last week, and the lady and I sent in for a work order. They're like, "No, it's just hot. Like it wouldn't get under like 79." And I'm like, "Yo, the AC's not working." And they're like, "No, it was like 118 out."
Dude, it's crazy. Yeah. That and like the amount of broken down cars I see, the amount like I am so surprised that people choose to live here. Like
really?
I mean, like obviously I live here too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean like Summerlin's beautiful. Like and then Henderson's really nice too. Like there are nice parts of Vegas, but I'm like, holy crap! Like how does anything survive?
Yeah.
Like the ACs go out every year. The cars break down. I feel bad for people.
Yeah. So you're staying at Summerlin now?
Yeah. So I'm like just south of Summerlin. So I'm off of 215 in Tropicana.
Because I ran into you at Lifetime the other
Yeah,
day,
yeah.
right?
So
Yeah.
I go to that Lifetime a lot.
Did you guys stop going to Dragon's Lair?
Well, I mean, so I liked Dragon's Lair. I also moved, so I was closer to Dragon's Lair before. But they don't have they don't have a shower.
Yeah.
They don't so my whole routine is I go to the gym, shower at Lifetime, and then go straight to work.
Yeah.
So it's easier for my routine to go do all that instead of I would have to go to Dragon's Lair, drive back, and then go do the thing. But Dragon's Lair is sick. It's a cool gym. I want to go to that new place. What's that? That Alex and Layla work out at? Have you seen it?
Planet Fitness? No, I'm not sure. Yeah.
No,
That's
Planet
funny.
Fitness is sick, man.
Yeah. But I'm actually trying to move to Summerlin right now, too.
You should.
I'm actually still living close to South Point, by Dragon's Lair. I'm literally 2 minutes from Dragon's Lair, but I'm driving every day to Lifetime just because I started playing pickleball.
Yeah,
so I'm playing pickleball with these guys. That's how I ran into you over there. But we're actually trying to move out there just because you were saying, dude, it's just one of the nicest parts of Vegas, and I don't know why we didn't move there.
And
before.
it doesn't feel like Vegas either.
Yeah.
It gives I feel like Scottsdale, very just night, almost like Palm Springs too. And so I like that vibe.
Yeah.
And it's 4 or 5 degrees cooler. So
really,
yeah, it's from where we are in the Strip right now to
just
over there.
because it's slightly higher on the mountain.
It's elevated.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, that's why I don't mind playing golf over there sometimes.
Yeah.
But if I go over here, I'm like, holy crap, it's so hot. But yeah, so I like Summerlin. The goal right now is buy a place in North County, San Diego, and bounce back and forth. So when it gets too hot, I'll do that here.
Yeah.
And then probably I want to have a kid pretty soon too. Yeah. So
Ryder needs friends.
I
Roman
know.
needs friends, or have a girl. Maybe they could date or something.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if I want my kids associated with your kids. Just
Wow,
kidding, bro.
that took a turn. All right.
Yeah, it's a good.
Fuck.
No, dude, that'd be sick.
Yeah.
No,
I'm really bad about peer pressure. I always ask my friends, when are you guys gonna have kids? Because
Yeah,
so I have 2 young sisters who are not having kids anytime soon.
Yeah.
Lexi's damn near an only child. Her sister's 14.
Dude,
So
yeah.
I'm we're we got no cousins. We need friends.
Yeah,
So,
I was I'll wait a few years, and then my sister has a nephew, and he's 1, and it's the cutest kid ever. And then her and I were kind of talking about it. I'm
how long you been dating?
dude, not long enough. That's the problem. That's why I'm
I mean,
8 months.
Do it.
Yeah, do it.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
so
funny.
we're because we're doing Greece, and I want to do a couple other fun trips before because a kid changes things, and she just opened the salon too. So I want
she's in build mode too.
Yeah, I want to let her do her thing, build, and then that way she can phase out. But dude, hairstylists in Vegas make so much money.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they make good money. She charges $400 or $500 for
I need to up
2
my
hour
sister's
session.
rent.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's funny because I convinced my sister to drop out of college and come out here to do the hair thing.
Yeah.
Because she was going to college. I feel like we're both have traditional parents. We were talking about it. My mom was so mad that she was going to college and that she wasn't going to college, and I was like, she doesn't want to do that. Let her do her thing. Brought her out. Just graduated Paul Mitchell, so now she's at some salon in Summerlin. I don't know which one it is, but. Yeah,
Nice.
I'm gonna tell her to hit her up.
Yeah, I will.
Magali.
Yeah, Magali.
Magali.
Okay,
She's
yeah.
gonna.
Hit her up. I get the
All
number.
right, all right.
Yeah, so they're dude. This is the first time they're ever dealing with contractors because they're building they're opening a salon, a brand new salon. So same stuff that flippers deal with, just oh, dude, the plans got submitted and then they didn't get approved, and now we got to go back and forth. I'm dang, now
Stop talking
now
about work.
grind.
Focus on me, is what you're saying.
No, I'm damn, that sucks. I feel bad for you.
That's funny.
But you now you know the pain. Yeah.
I think it's when you're dating an entrepreneur girl, it's a different experience. Like you were talking about your ex, same thing with my ex. Lexi, don't watch this. But I remember she was just. I remember I was so delusional in college.
Yeah.
That I was like, once we graduate, you got to support us for a year and let me fucking invest. And I didn't know what I was talking about. And she was just never believe you, It was funny.
Yeah.
Though.
And also, I wasn't the best back then either.
Yeah.
So there's probably other reasons why she didn't like me.
Fuck boy.
But true. But also just then you add that on top, and she's like, this guy sucks. No.
Did you meet her at a bar?
My current girl? No, I slid in the DMs.
That's nice.
So I saw her on Hinge. We matched on Hinge, but didn't message there. I followed her on IG, And then I was like,
So you like reverse engineered her from her
basically.
hinge?
Yeah,
onto-
well, no, but like we matched. And so like I knew that she like.
But then you right away took it off the platform and went
Oh,
through
for sure.
IG.
Like
Okay.
I saw, I was like, I'm locked in.
Yeah. That's the one.
Yeah. Target acquired.
Yeah.
And then so I slid into DMs a couple times, and then I was like, hey, like you want to go out? You want to go do something? And then it was like right around Halloween, and then and then she's like I asked to go on a date with her, and she's like, no, but you can meet me out with my friend. And I was like, say less. So then we go out, and I had a great night, and then I didn't message her for like 3 weeks. And then, honestly, I just got busy. And then she messaged me, she's like, why haven't you texted me yet? Like 3 weeks later. And I was like, my bad. And then so like, we hung out, then we've been inseparable ever since. So like, that was that. And yeah, so it's great. So she's moving in hopefully soon. She said like when the salon opens, because she's like, I got a lot on my plate right now. And that was supposed to be like 2-3 months ago. And so
That's
what
good.
it is. Yeah.
That's good.
So it's good stuff, man.
Yeah. We want to talk about anything else? We good? What do you want? How long have we been going, Dalton?
45 minutes.
Okay, we can
Nice.
go a little longer.
I'm down. What else do you want to talk about, Luis?
I don't know, man. I feel like
We
it
can talk
kind
more
of
about
took a turn,
business.
and you kind of started interviewing me, which is cool. I love it.
Yeah, no, I'm just
Yeah,
being
we'll
conversational.
just see what happens. Yeah.
Yeah. Should I talk more about like business and hiring, scaling? We can talk about that stuff if you want.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So like some of the biggest lessons that I feel like I've learned through like working in Pineda Universe, just like through hiring, man, like we've had so many bad hires that either like I personally failed as a leader, or like they just were bad hires and I shouldn't have even brought them into the fold in the first place. And like, but what I've learned is like, dude, after 3 months, something has to change no matter what. Like, even if I failed them as a leader and like I didn't give them the right tools or whatever, like someone's got to go, and it's not gonna be me. So, so yeah, I got to give them the boot. So like the biggest things that we do now is like, dude, like our interview process is like pretty extensive versus what it used to be. We do like a phone screening where like I review with them like, hey, this is the role, this is the pay. I outline pay right away. And then I move into like the second interview, which is like with the team. So they come in, they like meet whoever their actual manager is. Cause like I don't have that many people that report to me anymore. Like I have like the leaders who report to me, and then, but like they meet their leader. They do like a vibe check basically. And then we do like our predictive index, you know, the personality assessment.
What are you? Sorry to cut you off.
Captain.
Oh, okay.
So, you know, you tell me where to go and I steer the ship.
We're both captains.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah.
It's a good it's a good one. It's
It's good.
Some would say it's probably the best.
I would say so.
Yeah,
The funny, when you said you're like got to give him the boot, you reminded me of. Remember that investor lift party we were at?
I do remember the investor lift party.
And I remember you were like, this guy walked in and you looked at me, you're like, that guy just got fired. Because I remember that, I don't know why, but you told me he called in and then he showed up to the party.
Yeah. I was like, he's gone.
Yeah, he's gone. He fired. Yeah. I don't know why that was the first thing that came back.
Man. It's so funny.
I think I've even with my VAs though, I've always been slow to the boot. I'm really bad at that.
I'm still bad at that.
Yeah, like
I give people, we give people a lot of like, we think it's a lot of slack, and then when they get let go, they're like, what the heck? Like, I didn't see this coming. But like, we've been better now about like saying like, hey, like you're on a 2-week plan, or like, hey, like salespeople, it's easy. Yeah. It's like, hey, we have a minimum benchmark. You have to hit it. If you're not hitting it, you're out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and that's how I got my start in leadership. So it was like way easier. Like, that was a hard part too. Going from like managing a sales team where it's so everybody's very similar. They're all like high performance. They want to close deals. They're self motivated. To now going and managing like people who are like admins, marketers, and they don't have the same mentality. That was super hard. But
when you were managing people virtually, what would you say the difference was to managing in person? Because what I saw was, how would I say, like when I was managing, like we had 200 plus VAs, and I remember all we were using was the Chrome extension Time Doctor. So all we knew that was that they were logged in.
Yeah.
And then one day we're just like somebody introduced us to Hubstaff, and we installed Hubstaff, and everybody was like freaking out because we realized half the VAs weren't doing shit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, holy fuck! Like, and ultimately that was on me. It wasn't on them. And I started like blaming it on the leaders that we put throughout the organization. And I was like, What do you mean? Like, how did you not know that they just like have their mouse sitting there for 5 hours and they get paid? Yeah. And we're just like, because with drop shipping, a lot of it, if there's no sales, there's nothing to do. Mm-hmm. But I just remember like that it was like so crazy because like we ended up firing like over 40% of the VAs.
Wow.
Because we could do the same amount of work once. Because Hubstaff, are you familiar with Hubstaff?
Not really. What's that? Like?
It takes screenshots every 10 minutes of the employee.
Oh, that's good.
Versus what we were using before was Time Doctor.
Yeah, and it just like tracks the mouse.
They just got to log in and logs the mouse. Yeah. And compared to Hubstaff, we're like, dude, we've been and our payroll was probably 40, 50K at the time.
Wow.
So it was like we were just overspending, but it was just a big lesson that we learned was don't trust your employees.
Well, dude, I mean, you say that with virtual employees. I mean, people in the U.S. are the same way that work for virtual companies. They do like how many videos and TikToks there are of like same thing, like people who have like a fan attached to their mouse just so it moves and like just like that way I'm online. But and I was guilty of that too though. Like when I worked remote, I would go to the gym at 12. I would like live my life. I'd be doing laundry. It's great for the employee. It's terrible for the business owner. Yeah. And that's why we've shifted. Like we do our very best to make sure that almost everybody is in person. Like every now and then, if they're like a really really good employee, like we'll do like a virtual situation just because like you do miss out on talent because you're just based in Vegas. But yeah, dude, like it's not limited just to VA like Filipino VAs or like overseas VAs. It's people in the U.S. are the exact same way. And for us like. For our management, we should. I'm gonna copy that. I think I'm gonna start using the time tracker stuff, like, because, I mean, even for our U.S. employees, dude, like our salespeople are so spoiled. All they do is get like calls booked on their calendar, and then and if they don't have calls booked on their calendar, they're not doing follow up, whatever. But we are able to like see like, okay, well, what's your activity? Where are you at? So to answer your question about like managing people in that were virtual. For me, at the time when I was doing it virtually, it was really easy because I was a sales manager. So I was like, okay, like how many calls did you make? How many deals did you close?
There's more data to look at.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But like, and for us, like we use like project management software. So like we use like ClickUp, Asana. So depending on which business we're operating, and so we're able to see like, okay, like did you complete your projects? Like is everything moving along if you are virtual? So that way, like. And I'm pretty flexible as like a leader, I would say, when it comes to like these other marketing people and whatever. I'm like, hey. Here are your projects. If you get it done, I really don't care. Like, and we have unlimited PTO and all that stuff too. So you can, like, if you want to take a vacation, take a vacation. Yeah. Like, go do your thing. I mean, it's tough when we have like, so Ryan golfs every Friday, right? I take vacations when I want to take a vacation. So we just try to apply the same thing.
Do you guys have to work around each other's vacations, or like what if everybody that was like?
So Ryan is like, he's focused on the things that will produce the most value for the company, which is creating content and thinking about the next business idea and the next like the next like 5 steps. My job is like in the day to day. So my job is to make sure that I'm checking in with like all the leaders of the businesses to make sure that things are rolling today. Yeah. And then so in reality, Ryan really like we don't need to overlap because like his job tasks aren't the same as my job tasks. So whether he's in the office or not, it really doesn't affect like what we're doing. Yeah. And then same thing like when I'm gone, like the business has good leaders, and that's like what I think we do. A pretty good job at is like recruiting like the leader, and then letting them just go run, and then like if we and then again we're pretty cutthroat though. Like
I think that's what I'm seeing with like even like the virtual employees in the Philippines right now. Talking to one of my other buddies, he was telling me, I was like, you might be better off taking an L on the cash flow now and just hiring a couple guys in house. And just be negative cash flow, but they're going to produce more. Like I'm sure you guys have like a lot more in-person employees for the e-com company.
Yeah, and if you don't have really really good SOPs and really really good like processes, it's hard to have a virtual employee, whether they're in the U.S. or whether they're virtual, or I guess whether they're overseas. That's the big problem that a lot of people have, and that's why it's easier if you don't have those processes, just have them in person because you can literally sit there and like tell them what to do and show them. So like I think for a lot of like newer businesses, I would say like your first few hires need to be in person until you get like really, really good SOPs and really good processes that you can give to somebody and trust that they're going to do well.
The one thing I got lucky on was that so our head VA of when our company was big stuck around with me. So like he understands running 200 plus people, and now he only has 3 to manage. So
easy
for him. It's a piece of cake. Yeah. So it's been I've loved. I'm not regardless, if I ever fail at everything, I'm keeping him. I've already told him. I was like, you will help me run my life. Like, he's just like, you know, that one employee you don't want to ever lose.
Yeah.
And I remember I was just paying him monthly just to be on retainer, just be ready for when I need you.
Yeah.
Just because he understands. I feel like he understands more of the business than I do as the business owner.
Yeah.
And sometimes it is. Sometimes the employee, I feel like, does understand more of the business than you as the owner.
Day to day, like, right, like that, and same thing. Like, even me, like, I have leaders in each business, and I also have like sub managers in each business too, right? So like we have, like, for example, at the media company, we have a COO of Pineda Media, right? And then we have a director of customer experience. And then like we have like the sales team, and then we have like our account managers and all that stuff. So like the account managers know more probably about the customer than the director of customer experience, and the COO, and then me. Like I don't know shit.
Yeah.
So,
That's what I say, yeah.
I'm like, thumbs up, guys.
Yeah.
Like, did we make money this month? Like, are the customers happy?
Did the graph go up?
Yeah. What do these squiggly lines mean?
That's funny though. Like, comparing it to the e-com stuff was, to be honest, I didn't want to, like, I was maybe being lazy, but I went from, you know, when I got into drop shipping, I was very like in the freaking in the trenches,
Yeah.
And when I moved into FBA, which maybe this is one of the reasons it's not going as well as I want it to go, is I literally just bought like a bunch of courses and sent them to my VA, like the one that like was my head VA,
Yeah.
and then I had him teach me.
That's smart.
So then I was like, learn this, like dissect it all, and then he taught me, and then that's how so he kind of built it with me, even though he's like virtual.
Yeah.
So like I feel like he probably understands that game more than I do, but I feel like in other businesses, it's like the employees sometimes will know more than you.
Yeah. Like, yeah, and I think the companies that can like figure out how to really produce good global talent are gonna like really succeed in the next few years, because like same thing. I have a woman in Egypt. And she does like all of our like operational SOPs and building all that stuff out, and she is amazing.
Yeah.
Like, if I could have more employees like her, I totally would. But I mean, dude, I'm paying her like $1,000 a month.
Yeah.
But I mean, and to her was like a pay boost. Yeah. So like, it's just crazy the level of talent that you can find in these other places if you're willing to invest and if you're willing to wait. And yeah, like I think Hormozy says like all business is just arbitrage. So like, getting a product or service for cheaper from your employees and then selling it for more over here. So like, yeah, if you can, like the same thing that we do with our editing company. I mean, like very, very high skilled VAs, but they're still out in the Philippines, and we're paying single digits per video. So like it's just
because you have that much volume.
Yeah, well, we have that much volume. We negotiated good deals, and you know, so all that type of stuff. And yeah, so anyway, that's kind of the. Like that's like our path, like and I always try to make it a point to figure out, like if we can, I have a VA can do it first before we go try to hire an employee these days. Yeah.
That happened here already in the warehouse though, because like I hired my sister just because she's my sister.
Yeah.
But a lot of the stuff she was doing was like stuff that a VA can do.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, like so then I got rid of, we had like a warehouse employee in the beginning, and I was like, just do the warehouse stuff, and only when you're not busy there, go do the computer stuff, because I was like, yeah, it's just like arbitraging. I'd rather have a VA doing it when it costs me way less.
Exactly. Like,
so yeah,
like, yeah, we actually we let go of somebody, and then like we found out that like more than half of their work could have been done by a VA, and we're saving like 500% on you know employee costs and all that. So,
but doesn't that like kind of contradict what we were talking about earlier, where having like the in-person culture is so important?
It is.
So it's like such a weird thing to navigate.
It is, but like I think like all of our best thinkers need to be in office. Yeah. Right. But the things that we can't automate, like for whatever reason, that still require a person, that are like low-level tasks, I think we can like always assign those out. And you can build great culture virtually, but you have to be really, really, really strong at SOPs, meeting cadences, and all this stuff that like we don't have down perfectly. And I like most entrepreneurs when they're starting out can't get those things. Because for example, like the company that I was telling you about called Hoppin', they had over, they probably have more now, but they had over 1,000 employees, all virtual, no single office. And they operate at an extremely high level, but they have, again, very, very strict meeting cadences. You have to have your camera on. Like they do one-on-ones like all the time. Like they're just really, really good at the processes. Yeah. And like they have company meetings all virtual, all that stuff. So Is it possible to create a great culture virtually? Yes, but for most entrepreneurs, no, I wouldn't do it.
I think it's from my experience it was easier to create culture with way more virtual employees than very few.
Yeah.
Like right now, I only have, like I was saying, 3 to 4 virtual employees versus back when we had 200 plus, we could break the meetings up. We could have breakout rooms and all this stuff. But now when it's like 4 of us on the call, we're like, all right.
Yeah.
So it's a lot. It actually gets easier as you scale, like with virtual employees.
Agreed.
Versus when you're starting off, it's hard to create culture when it's like the same 4 faces.
Exactly.
And I don't have as much work as I used to because we're not running 100 plus stores anymore. We're running 3.
Well, and that's the hard part, because if you have in-person employees, and if I, go walk into your office, I'm like, Luis, can you get this done? And then you go do it. The information operates like in silos, right? Where like, and then the VA has no idea what's going on, or your virtual person has no idea what's going on, and so that's what we see, because like we move so quickly that we're like, we'll tell all the in-person employees, and they're like, oh crap. We didn't tell John over in Canada. So John's, we're operating on slower information, or our VAs are operating on slower information. So like it's hard to have like half your office in person and then the other half like virtual if you're not like having detailed meeting.
Well, then time zones too.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
So
do you guys have your virtual employees work 9 to 5 here?
Yeah, so we have them work our hours and be available during our hours.
Yeah, because I was being too nice, and we were just letting them work their 9 to 5, and then we would just check in on them, during our time. And it was just, at one point we transitioned the whole company to work our hours, and it was like day and night.
Yeah,
and I remember that, but like we had a lot of VAs quit also, and we're like, well, sorry, this is what it is, But yeah, I think that was a big lesson, especially in the drop shipping space, because e-com doesn't close, right? It's just 24/7. So, we thought we could just let them work whatever hours they want, and we were more focused on keeping them happy, not really focused on the company. Yeah, we just wanted them happy, which is, we want both, But it was that was a learning thing.
That's a big lesson that I've had to learn too. It's like my job is to protect the business.
Yeah,
like I obviously care about my employees and I care about the people, but like, and back to your thing about like holding on to people for too long, it's because like you want to protect the employee, but in reality, like if you don't protect your business, like there's nothing. Like you can't pay them. So you have to, unfortunately, like protect the business by either cutting them or hopefully giving them the right training and all that type of stuff too. So like that was a big shift from like, I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, to now like, dude, sorry, I gotta go. But I think that comes with also setting clear expectations in the very beginning, and like, hey, if you don't hit these metrics, or if you don't hit these like goals, targets, KPIs, depending on like what their role is, then it's a lot easier to be like clear about letting them go.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think I'm gonna rewatch this, because I got to work on that on some of the VAs, because I don't have leaders scattered throughout the company now, because now I am the leader.
Yeah.
It's a lot different, but yeah.
It is. And it's tough, man, because like you are dealing with somebody's life and all that type of stuff. But again, if you do your job well, you're gonna stay. Yeah. But if you're not, sorry,
you're out.
Yep. Peace out.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Is that a good way to end it?
I think that was good. Yeah. I guess I'll do an outro. I think that's what I do now, right? Yeah. Thanks for tuning in. If you guys want to follow us on IG, where you at?
Javchav, JAVCHAV _ on IG, and the same on TikTok.
And I'm at _ Luis Barraza. Peace.